Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Just Daf It. Today's Daf is Nedarim, Daf Mem Gimel, number 43. A great share for you today. Let's talk a little bit Hefker, being mafkir or something. If you're mafkir or something, does that retain the Isser of Hana? If you can't benefit from a person who's mafkir or something, makes something ownerless, can I go take that thing from Hefker or not? That is the question we'll be dealing with most of today's Daf. Let's start from the bottom of Mem Beis Amud Beis. The Mishnah, 3 lines from the bottom. Amudra Hana Michavero. Someone forbids his friend from getting hana from him. Lo yashilenu. He can't let him borrow an object. Lo yishal mimenu. He also can't borrow from him. We'll discuss why. Lo yilvenu. You can't lend him money. Obviously, you're benefiting him by lending him money. But lo yilvenu. Also, you can't borrow money from him. V'lo yimkor. You can't sell him something. Ostensibly, he's benefiting by buying what he wants. Lo yilvenu. Also, you can't buy from him. We have to explain. 3 out of the 6 make sense. The other 3 don't seemingly make sense. The Gemara will delve into this. Top of Mem Gilel and Aleph. Bishlama lo yilvenu. You can't lend him money to kamahani like, right? He needs the money. Right? Anytime you borrow, you lend someone money, you're doing a favor to the guy. Can't charge ribis. Right? If you'd be able to charge ribis, maybe it wouldn't be such a favor. But according to the Torah, you can charge ribis. So you're definitely benefiting the guy. Ella lo yilvahim manu. Why can't I borrow money from him? My kamahani like. I'm hurting the guy. He loses part of his money. Ubishlam, the Gemara continues asking, Lo yilvim himanu. Right, I can't borrow from him. Lo yikach himanu. I can't purchase from him. The kamshani minay. Right. Even if we'll assume, right, we're going to see in a second. We'll discuss this more in Ian with Mencion. Again, there's 2 types of benefits. There's a financial benefit and a physical benefit, a materialistic benefit. Even if you want to concede that our Mishnah is talking about a materialistic benefit, not just a financial benefit, right? So we can understand, Lo Yilva Heimanu, right? You shouldn't borrow money from him because even though he's losing money, right, you're going to be indebted to him, right? Eved Lovet Lishmalva, someone who takes money from someone, he becomes a slave to him. This is really the truth, right? You take money from somebody, your parents support you in Kol, you're a slave to them. But Lo Yigeh Chamanu, you shouldn't purchase from him because he did the favor of selling a product to you that you wanted. You're indebted to him also. To borrow an object from him. That's regular. Borrowing objects from people, that's considered something that is normal. My comment is why are you benefiting? The Gemara is talking about a case not just where one person forbade the other person getting hana, each of them forbade each other from getting hana from them. In which case, right, it makes sense. You can't lend money to him. He's benefiting. And you also can't borrow money from him because you can't benefit from him, right? And that's what we're talking about. Amar Abaye. Now, it still really doesn't answer the second question. The second question is borrowing objects. The person who's borrowing objects in the Havamina, the person borrowing objects is not enough for anybody, right? It's commonplace for me to go borrow a dozen eggs from my neighbor. I'll repay him a dozen eggs. So that's a halva, actually. Borrowing eggs, we're going to use it. Or borrowing a shovel or something like that, and you return the shovel. Or borrowing, I don't know, a shaver or something like that. A shaver actually maybe ruin it. I don't know, borrow something that you're going to give back itself. Borrow a mixer, I don't know, in the kitchen. Some utensil in the kitchen. You're going to give exactly the object back. So you're only going to let the guy borrow it if you don't need it at that point. So there's no real hana, whether it be financial or physical. So the Gemara really doesn't answer that so much according to Yosef Chanina. We'll have to answer that in Iyot Ben Zion. Abaye says the reason you can't borrow something, even though he can't get benefit from you, he doesn't say. Abaye says no. We're talking about. I said my friend Reuven can't get benefit from me, right? So why can't I borrow from him, right? Borrow a mixer from him, a food processor, a ninja blender. It's a good product. Because if I borrow from him, I might give him to borrow from me. Abaye concedes that when I do give someone to borrow something from me, that's considered a hana. It is considered a hana. So Abaye seems to argue on Rabbi Tzvi Chanina. We'll talk more about the machlokes Abaye and Rabbi Tzvi Chanina and Ian with Ben Sion in the following shir after this. The Mishnah says, Amar lo Hashem parascha. He says to him, can I borrow your cow? Amar lo ena pnuya. He says, it's not available. Now, probably the circumstances of this case, it really was available. They just hate each other. So he says it's not available. Amar, so he got angry at him. He says, Konam sadesh and echorish bala olam. I'm never going to take that cow from you. Even if you regret being such a mean guy and you decide to give that cow, I'm never going to take your cow to plow my field. And then he relents, and obviously he wants the cow. He wants to borrow the cow. If he, this person himself, he was the one who used the cow to plow, he didn't have workers. Who also called him mutar? He intended only to answer himself using the para. So other people, he could hire workers to use the guy's cow. If he doesn't usually do it, who called him asurin? Him and anybody are usher to use the para forever. Someone forbids his friend from getting hana from him, and then he regrets it. His friend has nothing to eat. He's a poor person. He wants to give him some food. He goes to the storekeeper. He goes to the makola, the convenience store. I forbade this person from getting hana from me. I want to give him food, but I don't know what to do. He hints to him that he should give him food. Who knows, saying lo, the convenience store owner will give food on credit to this guy, and he'll collect a debt from this person. The person he forbade hana, he was in the middle of construction. He was building his house. He was putting up a fence. He had to harvest his field. And he forbade him from getting hana. And this guy didn't have money to pay the workers to build his house or to plow or to harvest his field. He goes to the workers. I don't know what I'll do. They get the hint, and they do the work, and they collect their money from this person. So therefore, it's not that he told them to do work for them. So it's not a direct hana. They did it on their own accord, and they're collecting from him afterwards. So it's not like he got benefit from him. They're walking together on a journey. Apparently, he hated him, so he asked for hana, and they decided to go on a tiyul, a journey. They went to the north, to Amuka. They had nothing to eat. So he gets to a third person for matana, another person's mutter. If there's no third person, he leaves the food or whatever object he wants to give him on the rock, or on the fence. He makes them hefker. Once he makes it hefker, it no longer belongs to him, so he's not benefiting from him. Rabbi Yossi says you're not allowed to do this. The Gemara extensively will discuss what is the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Why does Rabbi Yossi have a problem with hefker, benefiting from hefker? The Gemara says, "Amar Rabbi Yochanan." In my time with Rabbi Yossi, what is the reason of Yossi? Kasavar. So the Gemara first says hefker kamatan. He holds like hefker is like giving a gift. Just like I give a present, right? I say I'm giving you a present. So until you actually take the present from me, I'm leaving the present in front of my door, right? And you don't come to take it. I can retract my present. It's not called an Indian giver unless he actually got the present so far. So therefore, hefker also, I intend to make it ownerless only once he gets it. Before he gets it, it's still in my possession. So therefore, he's directly benefiting from me. He's not allowed to do it. Rabbi asked the following question. Yossi Ozer, and the Mishnah says the person takes it and eats it if he made it hefker. Yossi forbids. Amar Yossi. This is a brisa which explains the shita of Yossi. Emasai. When did I say my teaching? Bizman shenidro kodem levkero, where I forbade this person from getting hana, and then later on in the day I made the thing hefker. Aval, on top of him, gimel and bez. In my hefkero kodem lenidro, right? Before he forbade this person from getting hana from him, he was mafkir certain things. He made things turn the ownerless. Harizim mutter. It's mutter to take it from hefker. If you say hefker exactly like a matana, that I maintain ownership until the person takes it, mali nidro kodem hefker, mali hefker kodem lenidro. Right? What's the difference whether I made the neder before the hefker before the neder? Right? Either if I made the hefker before the neder, it's still until it comes to the rishos, it's mine. So he's benefiting from it. He He asked the question, he was able to answer it himself. The reason of the distinction Rabbi Yossi makes, really, it is true, right? That hefker is considered mine until I give it to the person. However, when I made something hefker and then I made a neder afterwards, in that case, when I made the neder, it was ki'ilu. I made a stipulation and said whatever I made hefker was not included in my neder, because the fact that I made the hefker beforehand, I know it's hefker. Obviously, I didn't include to make him forbidden in things that I made hefker. Mesi Rava asked the following question on Rabbi Abba. Miksas in the Rishon, a person in the Shchimira, he's about to die, he's giving away his possessions. He doesn't want to give Yerusha, he doesn't have sons to give it to, or he wants to give it to certain people. So he says, Miksas in the Rishon, a portion of my property should go to one person, the Chul and the Sheni. And then immediately after that, he says, all my property should go to the second person. There's Reuven and Shimon. Rishon Kana. Rishon is Kona, the partial, the chasim, whatever possessions he planned on giving to him. Sheni lo Kana. The Sheni doesn't get anything, right? So it must be, when a person says, B'zas on the Rishon, Kul and the Sheni, when he says Kul and the Sheni, he meant to retract and go back on what he says, B'zas on the Rishon, right? Kul and the Sheni, not what's left from the remainder after the Rishon took, after Reuven took whatever he was supposed to take. Kul and the Sheni, right? He retracted. So the same thing over here. When a person makes the hefker and he makes a neder afterwards, his neder meant to include also what he said originally. Ella Amarava Hainu Time with Rabbi Yossi Xeroshim Masas Beis Choron. The reason Rabbi Yossi did this is not midorai. So he says Asar. It's Xer Rabbanan. Because of Masas Beis Choron. We'll explain this case later. The Gemara will talk about this on Daf Mem Ches on 48 in the Nedarim. Daf 5 Daf from now. There was a specific case in Beis Choron where a son, answered his father from getting hung up from him. He didn't like his father, he didn't have a relationship with his father. He was a rich son. His father didn't have money. I'm going to really stick it to you, Dad. You can't get benefit from me. Lo and behold, 10 years later, he's marrying off his son. He has a big chasana. He's a rich guy, obviously. So he wants to make a big wedding. But he also wants the grandfather to be there because, not that he likes his father, but, it looks kind of bad if the grandfather's not invited. So he gives the wedding hall, right? He's renting the wedding hall, or maybe he owns a wedding hall. He says to the person, to a third person, he says, you take the wedding hall and all the food in the wedding hall. I'm giving it to you. In this way, my father can come to the wedding. He doesn't belong to me. He's not benefiting from me. He's benefiting from your possessions. Now, obviously, everyone knew in the circumstances. I don't know if he explicitly said it, but he knew he was only giving it to him so that he could have the wedding, so his father could benefit. This person took the wedding hall and he made it hektish. He was makdish, just damim to the Beis Hamikdash. So is it valid as hektish or not? So the Gemara says it's not valid as hektish because everyone knows that he's only intended to give it to him so his father could get hanaf from the wedding hall. Not that he should actually give it to him. It didn't belong to this third person. However, sometimes it's going to lead to problems because we're going to confuse what's the right halacha. Is it hektish? Is it not hektish? Similar over here, when the person made it hefker, it's dvarim shalivu le'chol adam. The reason I made it hefker was that a person should benefit from me. So therefore, since I only did it under those circumstances, so therefore, it's not like I really made it hefker. It's like I really did make it hefker. It's like I really didn't give this wedding hall to the person. Right? I really didn't give the wedding hall to the person. So it's a question, Beis Choron, is that a problem? Really, he did give it to the person and they invalidated the hektish min Rabbanan, or maybe the pshat is he didn't actually give it to the person. And he didn't really intend to give it to the person at all, so it never went to the person, and his father's going to benefit from the wedding illegally. Here also, the person's going to benefit from hefker illegally because I didn't intend to be mafkir. That's the explanation I would like to give. Masas Beichar is a problem with Doraisa over here. Similarly over here, Masas is not like the Ran says. Masas Beichar is a problem Doraisa. Here also hefker, when real according to Rabbi Yossi, and I'm mafkir it, I'm the only person on the journey with this person. He needs a bottle of water, and I left it on the rock or I left it on the fence for this person to take. I ostensibly didn't mean that he should really be hefker. I didn't mean that. It's common knowledge. I didn't really intend to make it hefker, so it's not hefker, and therefore the person is benefiting from me. That's the reason Rabbi Yossi answers, because we learned from Beis Choron that he didn't make it a hefker in this case. That's the conclusion of today's show. We're going to talk more about Masas Beis Choron and Hefker in tomorrow's daf. Today, I want to focus on the beginning of the Gemara. We're talking about She'ela and borrowing things from people. Does that fall into the category of Isser Hana? Stay tuned. Ben Sion coming up.